Coming to you live from Obama, a city located in Fukui Prefecture, Japan. As of 1st August 2018, the city had an estimated population of 29,435 in 12,057 households and a population density of 240 persons per square kilometer. The total area of the city was 233.9 square kilometers. We are here today with ESL Open Cup I just realized I don't have my webcam on, so I'm pointing for no one. Asia Division. I am, of course, number 238. I am, of course, Yoshiaku of Nizaku, and with me today is El Crocodillo Patinador que te verá luego. Boy, like _VIP. How we doing, like?
Boy, what? And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It is great to be back here. We had a nice cheeky ladder session just before the stream, but now we're here, now we're back, and we are jumping into some ESL Open Cup Asia action.
Indeed, we are. We're just kind of like a ladder, if you think about it.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It's a bracket.
Exactly. And what is a bracket if not a ladder, a horizontal ladder? In the top left-hand corner of the map, we're kicking it off with a PvZ. In the top left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top left, we have a red Zerg player coming out from the land of Taiwan. He's, of course, going to be representing Offside Gaming. No plus game this time, just regular Offside. He is Rex.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Croatian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Goblin.
I'm glad you introduced Goblin here at Light, because I'm not gonna lie, I forgot he was from Croatia.
What do you think it was from? What do you?
Czechoslovakia.
What?
I saw a blue, red, and white flag on the ESL bracket, and I was like, ah, yes, Czechoslovakia.
I think I've casted like one player from Czechoslovakia in my career of casting StarCraft. Okay, I don't think it was a pro either. I think it was just an amateur player. But okay.
It was like it was an open bracket.
It was. It was a ladder.
It was, yeah.
Well, we are selling it. Exclamation mark B in the chat, everyone, if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, and we have quite a number of players coming up ahead of us here. Of course, featuring some of the NA Team House boys, as Trigger, Future Australia, and Clem are all living in an Airbnb together in Korea, and all four of them are in the bracket.
Indeed, they are. The winner of, or the one who gets furthest tonight, is going to be the one who has the webcam for the rest of the week.
Yeah, and the one that loses has to wash all the dishes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All of them?
All of them, yeah. Even the ones that aren't dirty.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. But thankfully there aren't that many dishes because, I mean, let's be real, they're just ordering it.
Exactly. And when they're not, it's cup ramen.
Exactly. Well, you think they're cooking, Papi? Aye. They're Papi, they're DJs. They don't know how to cook. Oh, God. But
you would think that Trigger would have brought in some of that homegrown garlic with him.
Yeah, you think true. Did go up on a farm. True. I'm sure Trigger's taking care of his boys.
Yeah.
But now we're going to be settling in, and I'm really excited to feature Goblin just because Goblin has been popping off as of late. I don't know if you remember, I can't recall if you were casting alongside me, but we did cover Goblin recently in WTL against Raynor, and Goblin did almost. Oh yeah, you're with me. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
the hour-long game that we had on Cruiser Court. Oh no.
We had an hour-long game?
I feel like I've scrubbed that from my memory. I've just
that does not compute. That doesn't make logical sense to me. I would have not been alive at the time.
True. You were dead. But Goblin has been popping off specifically in this matchup as of late, and not just against Raynor, but also in amongst other of these big Zerg players. So I'm excited to see how he compares to not just Rex, but even the potential next opponent as well.
Yeah, he kind of has a really good bracket set up for him, potentially, as he is going to be facing a lot of Zerg players in the lead up to at least the semifinals. That's a lot of queens making their way across the map, and Rex ain't stopping.
Yeah, the Queen Walk was an interesting one. Lings do hit the third base. Roach one just now thrown down. We are joining up. I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but yeah, he's not going to be committing here, but Goblin is overreacting. We have a line of cannons, a line of shield batteries on the way. Goblin is ready, getting ready for an attack that is not coming.
Yeah, that was a really good fake out coming out here from Rex with those initial couple of queens, but now that Goblin does have 3 oracles on the map, he is still being active with them. I think the jig is up. I think he's going to be able to recognize, wait a minute, I don't have to turtle up too hard. I can just macro out and play a normal game.
Oh yeah. We shall see as the oracles, they do hit the 4th base. They're going to be able to force a cancel here, likewise dipping their way in between the bases. Also, I see in the chat people talking about Slovenia. I remember though, I remember it was in Home Story Cup. In Home Story Cup, I was casting a player from Czechia, and a bunch of like IRL friends were popping up, and they were all saying he was from Czechia. I remember they were saying that specifically. So I was like,
oh yeah,
okay.
Czechland.
Yeah. I do recall.
Right. Oh yeah, Czechoslovakia doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't. They still call themselves.
In our hearts.
In our hearts. In our hearts. True. Remember we had this conversation where I was like, Czechoslovakia, I think we were calling it that, and it didn't even exist when you were born. Like, it's like, what's going on? What's happening? How do you know this word, Jakub?
You know.
Okay.
They're a natural prey of interior decorators.
There you go. Exactly. As we do see, Goblin is taking up once again and rushing into Skyto's second Stargates on the way. Fleet Beacon as well. +1 air attack. Goblin doing what he does best. This is how he brought Raynor to his knees. And can a Goblin do it again here against Rex as we are taking? But it takes some time to get into this.
Yeah, that's what we're about to find out. Overseer does dip in and will confirm those are Tempest coming out. Rex, he knows he needs to, at the very least, try to cripple Goblin's economy sooner rather than later. I will say this, Goblin is only on 3 bases, which is dangerously low when you're rushing in the sky toss like this. He's going to be grabbing the 4th base right now, which is about the bare minimum that you need. But even so, it's going to take him a while to reinforce that, to really secure his economy.
Yeah, and what's important right now is that we've scattered, right? We've scattered, we've confirmed everything that's going on. The Tempest and the carriers have been confirmed, and Rex has map control. Not just that, but Rex is going for Swarm Hosts.
That's a lot of Swarm Hosts. It's actually breaking up the rocks towards the natural base. Going to be trying to siege it down directly over there.
Yeah, we'll see as they do waddle in towards the natural base. Going to be going for that siege. At the same time, Ling Roach towards the south, headed towards that would-be 4th base. And we'll see if Goblin can keep up. We'll see if he can keep his bases alive.
That's what we're about to find out. As the first wave of Locusts do dive right on top of the natural mineral line, and the army is nowhere in position to deal with that. Battery overcharge gets popped, but that's way too much DPS on those Locusts. Meanwhile, the Roaches are able to force a cancel on this 4th base. The army was rushing back home to try to deal with the Locusts, and we're not here to defend.
Yeah, exactly. We shut down the natural. We shut down the 4th base. Goblin knocked down to 2 bases. And as you were saying before, Skytoss is good, but you do need an economy to actually sustain this kind of army.
Indeed, you do. And Goblin, he's got a bank-ish. He can technically produce, but yeah, he can't afford to lose a single unit here, including interceptors.
Oh yeah, as interceptors are being made as we speak. Imagine if you did chrono carriers, just to produce interceptors faster. That's crazy. As well, going for our second Locust wave.
We need that, yes. Second Locust wave, this time as a buffer for the Roaches. Roaches breaking through. There are a lot of cannons here, but the Locusts are doing a fantastic job of just eating up the damage. Quite a lot of them go down, but that's also a hefty loss on the Roaches.
Oh yeah, as we do barely pull back. Some of the Roaches do go down, but we're racing the Roaches. We are with Lings, Hydras, and Vipers. We're getting to Hydra Lurker Viper as our unit of choice. We speak about this from time to time, how Hydra Lurker Viper can deal with Skytos as long as we have a low amount of carriers or a low amount of units in the air. And that's kind of the game set that we have here, just because of the economy here, just because Goblin has yet to max out. Meanwhile, Rex is.
Yeah, this is a brilliant read from Rex to immediately scout what was going on and then just knock Goblin down to a 2-base economy. Rex has now rushed straight into his endgame while Goblin is just really struggling to catch back up.
Yes, we are making our way once again. This time carriers are in position. We will defend at the same time, though. The Ling Hydra does hit the third, and we're slowly pushing through a last overcharge as well. We respect the overcharge. We back off. We will retreat, remaxing, rebuilding, and getting ready for another Locust wave.
Yeah, we're just waiting for that time. Goblin so far has been doing a pretty good job of keeping his units alive, but alas, he is only on 3 bases.
Yeah, he's still stuck on 3 bases. Here we go. We yoink the first Tempest and the carrier as well. Oh my god. Up.
And once again, these are losses that Goblin cannot sustain. Another yoink on the carriers will take him down. Hydras on the ground, and now we have the Queens rocking up as well because that creep spread has gone absolutely insane. That is a testament to how much map control Rex has had throughout this entire game.
For a second there, I was like, did 2 Vipers just yoink like 6 units? What the hell just happened? But 2 Vipers did just go down as well. So, sorry, a Viper did just go down as well. So there was a bit of a trade there with an extra Viper, but that was still an insane amount of abductions. We did shut down so many of those Kaitos units, and now there's only 2 Tempests left.
And 2 Tempests on their own, not the scariest thing in the world, especially when your ground army consists only of Stalkers. A couple of Zilts trying to be morphed in, but Goblin just can't afford much of anything.
Yeah, exactly, as we do end up trading quite nicely here. I mean, Rex behind this, he does have a solid economy, taking down some of these Stalkers. Hydra starter stepping forward. The Vipers are now full of energy once again. Queen's coming in to transfuse to top everything up, and we're just getting ready for another Locust wave.
Like... oh, okay, cooldown's actually a ways off.
Like
so.
Yeah.
Got him.
There you go.
Carriers popped out only to get yoinked, and that's going to be the last of the carriers. Only 1 Tempest in the sky. GG is called, and Rex gonna be taking game number 1.
GG, well played. Rex will take a lead here in this series. Goblin trying to rush into those carriers, into that Skytos, but the problem here is because how small the map is, because how small Ghost River is specifically, it's just your opponent's right in your face, right? Creep was literally at the doorstep of Goblin because it doesn't take many tumors at all to get across the map, and he was just up against the wall. He was struggling to get any kind of breathing room and struggling to expand.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a little bit of a gamble here from Goblin. I mean, this is what he likes to do in PvZ. He does like to rush into Skytoss, but like you were saying, there's a reason why this is so successful on other maps like Alcyone and maps like Golden Aura, which are huge and massive, and it takes a while for your opponent to get into your face. And in this case, when you tried to do that on Ghost River, he was just shut down. He was knocked down to a 2-base economy right from the start, and then was only ever able to get back up to a 3-base economy, which is not enough to sustain a Skytoss army. Fun fact. That's just math.
It is just math, and I mean, props to Rex as well, because it wasn't just his aggression, but also his scouting. If you remember, like, just as the Stargates were finishing and the first couple of units were popping out, the Overseer did confirm everything, and Rex was so quick to embrace the Swarm Host, which is also something you don't see too often.
Yeah. I didn't think it will work out against Skytoss like that, but, you know, Rex, he was thinking not of the Skytoss, but the suppliers of the Skytoss. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our series now on Oceanborn, where we're here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Taiwan. He's going to be representing Offside Gaming. Without Gabe, we have Rex.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Croatian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. Down to the series, looking to bounce back, it is Goblin.
Hashtag not check.
No. As we all know, I see in the chat, European countries for dummies. As we all know, Brazil is in Europe.
Look,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why Kelazar was the best Terran player in Europe.
Is.
Yeah, still is. Take that, Clem. Now that he's run off to Korea.
I mean, he's run off to Korea, and he's also been adopted by the NA boys as well, right? Like,
True.
The claim that Clem is Texan is becoming stronger and stronger by the day.
Exactly. He just needs a little yeehaw.
He does need a little yeehaw. Yeah. I am curious though, what kind of influence Clem is getting, like staying and living with Future, Trigger, and Estrella, like specifically Future and Estrella, who are not standard players at all, and are very chaotic and they're animals. So I wonder what that's doing to him.
Through osmosis, he's gonna just absorb the ape. We're gonna cast him in the finals, and he's gonna whip out like I don't think even I'm ape enough to come up with something.
I mean, it's been a while. I think it's been a while since you've casted Future, but we were able to cast Future recently, and he's still doing the eBay block in TvZ.
Yeah. There we go.
Which is crazy. Like he eBay blocks the natural in TvZ. Just think about that for a minute. Like, it's crazy, and it works. Like, like he beats Solo with it. He's crazy.
He forces the unnatural.
He does. He does force the unnatural. Or he forces like 7 drones to be pulled to kill the eBay, and it just ruins the Zerg's life. It's crazy.
Exactly.
What else did he do the other day? I think Future he went Rax expand with the Rax on the low ground, reactor first. So he skipped the Marine, he skipped the Reaper, he skipped everything, and he was just and he went into a 1-1-1 tech lab. He left the tech lab empty, and he went medevac first, not Banshee. Off of a one, it was it took
now,
me
when
for
you
a
say
trip
he
back.
left the tech lab empty,
As in there was nothing on the tech
he
lab.
lifted the racks?
Yeah, he lifted the factory. He lifted the factory that was building the tech
factory?
lab. Yeah, those just,
well, yeah, it makes sense because you need the wall.
Yeah. It was in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still need to wall.
This is just we love Future. We love him. He's great. I can't wait for Clem to whip out a Future build at one point.
Oh, what's the synthesis between a Future and Clem? Because you think about Clem, you think about somebody who just has that insane level of multitasking and unit control, mixed with the builds of Future that are super left field and many times do scale very, very well if the better you are at unit control. He's going to be unstoppable. That's the real Future of Terran.
That's the real Future of Terran.
Phlegm.
Oh, God. That's
confused like Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly. They're gonna do the dance and everything. As we are just settling in, it's just a hatch gas pool here out of Rex. Rex is going for a very early lair though, so up until now everything was pretty standard. Goblin went Stargate Opener into Oracle, into a 3rd base, but Rex with this fast lair has options here to rush into something crazy like a Nidus Worm or just a Roach Queen all in.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that production tab as well as on those gas geysers to see what he grabs. That is pneumatized carapace coming out from him. We're seeing what we always see on in a PvZ on Oceanborn.
True. It's a 3-base all in.
Yeah.
2-base all in.
I'll never forgive Solar.
True. As Solar has been known to do nothing but that. But for those that are curious, with Overlord Speed, with a lair as well, what does that mean? That means drop lords. That means we're going to be sending our queens across the map. Roaches are amassing as we speak, and Rex has no intention of getting into a longer game.
That he does not. Super important right now for Goblin to come in and scout this. He does get his eyes on the Roach Horn, I think. I'm not sure if he was able to get his eyes on the saturation.
Yeah, that's the scary thing here, is that Rex, he did Maynard Workers over. You can see he's not even fully saturated at the natural, so he's making it look like he's droning more than he really is. Meanwhile, we're doing it again. We're rushing into Sky Toss.
Uh-oh. And on a map like Oceanborn, you can get away with this if your opponent isn't wasn't planning to go for a 3-base all-in at start.
Yeah, the German taxi is here. Interesting variation. We're going to have a drop load with Lings moving out towards the natural base. So we're going to be dropping into the natural and pushing towards the third base at the same time.
Slowly but surely. We do have a lot of cannons being set up outside of third base, but they are still in production. They are not out yet. Shield battery overcharge does get popped, and it will keep these oracles alive, but are the oracles really what you need in this scenario? Drop Lord spraying some creep. The Lings in the natural base going to be wreaking havoc, forcing a couple of Warpins back home.
Yeah, we got 7 probe kills already, a good drop, well worth it for Rex. Meanwhile, the Queens have arrived. Ravagers are morphed in. That is so many Ravagers as well. So far, we have held, but the overcharge is now on cooldown.
Very terrifying moment right now. I believe that's an Artosis pylon.
No! Oh, yeah, we have a backup pylon behind it. Thankfully, so everything stays powered. Force fields are good. We catch out a Queen, and Goblin for now is holding on.
Yeah, waiting until after the Ravagers surround their Biles before getting the Force field is a brilliant move from Goblin. But the fight is not over yet. We still have reinforcements making their way across the map right now for Rex. He hasn't lost too many of his Ravagers. He hasn't lost a single Roach or Ravager, actually.
Yeah, so far so good, but we have been bleeding out those Lings, and now the overcharge is back off cooldown. We can use it once again. Biles looks like they will connect. They take down two of the cannons, but Tempest are on the way. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Goblin.
Indeed it is. Indeed it shall be. Queen's, unfortunately, not the best unit you want against Tempest.
Not the best unit here, as we do depower a lot of those shield batteries, but it looks like we have deflected the main army. Rex is being forced further back. Finally, Ravagers are going down. Queens have to back off. We have a Spire on the way, and we actually drop back into the main.
Double Ling drop. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a single Overlord drop, but no, that's 16 Lings making their way into the main base, but actually not getting too much done here. A little bit of a little bit too late here from Rex for this to really be effective.
Yeah, the Oracles, they were freed up. They were able to go into the main base, and that was a meat grinder. The Lings got no damage. Tempests are revealed, and now Rex is in a lot of trouble. Look at the supply here, as this time it does not lie, and the supply here is crazy because it's not just Stalkers, it's Tempest and soon-to-be Carrier as well.
Goblin now on 70 probes versus 57 of drones of Rex. That is a terrifying prospect for any Zerg player.
I mean, this tells a story here. I mean, the lack of saturation at the third base is brutal. We do have Aspire Lings. They do dive into the main base and it's natural, and we need to get damage done. Oh.
Yeah, we actually will get a couple of probes here and there, force a couple of Warpins back home, but Goblin is starting to push out.
Yeah, he's chasing down those Ravagers, taking them down one after the other, and Rex just barely has a standing army, and he's going into Mutas.
Against Tempest and Carriers?
Ah.
Okay. Well, I guess he's not looking to fight the main army and instead looking to deal damage at the mineral lines, but I can't say I'm too convinced, Light. I don't think these Mutalisks are going to get too much damage done.
It's one of those things where we're about to poke the bear, right? It's like we're going to be coming in and we're going to get some economic damage done 100%, but what about the move out? That's what I'm concerned about here, as the Mutas, they do hit the natural base. No cannons, no shield batteries, probes are going to go down.
Yeah, 10 of them, and Goblin has been knocked down to an even worker count, but that army supply still tells a full story. Actually, could be going back home here as Goblin.
Yeah, Goblin, he doesn't counterattack, he recalls back home, and that means we have an opportunity. We depower the Stargates. The pieces are going to be denied. We get 11, we get 12, 13 pro kills so far. At the same time, Lings, they hit the fourth.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage. 19 probes go down. So even though Rex was behind earlier, and I would say he's still behind a little bit economically, just because he's on an even base count, he's kind of clawing his way back into this. Now, he does have to start switching up his army composition. He does need to start preparing for an army that can deal with the Sky Toss, but he's in a position where that's not out of the question compared to earlier. As
he does rotate, Goblin out of position, by the way. We do take control of the fourth base, and we might even get a kill. Oh, never mind.
Okay, not quite, yeah. That main army is still terrifying right now from Goblin. Rex is well aware of that. The main strength of his army composition right now is its mobility, is its ability to kind of skirmish here and there, pull back, and then rotate to another base when at the first sign of trouble. He will not survive a sustained fight.
Yeah, as muted as they do pipe past the main army, we have Lings threatening the fourth base. This time Goblin is ready at the fourth, but less so at the natural as we do barely depower everything. We delay +1 air attack.
Once again, not too bad. Yeah. Pretty good moves here and there from Rex. He's doing whatever he can to drag Goblin back it down to his own level. But I'm still very worried for him, Light. He's still making nothing but mute us. And I'm not convinced they can stand up to the main army.
Yeah, like now we have a decent economy. We're on 4-base saturation. 4-base saturation, 74 workers is not bad for Rex, but as you mentioned, the army quality here is purely Muta. It's Ling Muta for the side of Rex. And if Goblin ever builds up a good Archon count, specifically Archons and Storm, then he can move out across the map and end the game. Speaking of Archons, they're coming.
3 of them already in production. Yeah, I feel like I'm waiting for the point where Goblin where it stops raining and Goblin sees clearly and he thinks, wait a minute, I can push into you.
With a clouds part, or I guess the muted cloud parts, and then Goblin recognizes, I can just move, Papi. We can just send it. We'll see if we can get to that point though. So far, we're keeping up with the mutas. We're maintaining our economy, getting up to 4 bases. As you mentioned, Goblin is more concerned about maxing out. It seems like, especially because he is going to be working towards Phoenixes as well.
Yeah, that she shall. Wait, am I blind light? Did the Goblin cancel Aeon Crystals and restart it?
I think it did.
Huh.
Oh,
yeah, well, I guess he had to get the. I guess he wanted to prioritize the Temple Archives.
Yeah, the first time the pylons were killed, so everything got depowered. So both Stargates and the Fleeping got depowered. So it's also possible that it took a little bit longer to repower everything. Is also possible as well. But the mutas, they do head in, and oh my god, we cannot fight this head on. We do bleed out a good chunk of mutas.
Massive chunk of them, yeah. Rex will where he cannot fight that. He's bringing in a couple Corruptors, which on the one hand, I kind of like that these mutas have an escort, but on the other hand, it also feels like, you know, a couple of volleys from these Archons will wipe out the entire main army of Rex.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we still are lacking a ground army. Infestation Bit's now on the way. That's going to be for Hive Tech. That should be for Ultras and Vipers as well. And I mean, Spellcasters in general. We'll see if we can get there. For the time being, the Tempests are going to be bullying back this Skyzerg army, and we do get a lot of free shots up.
Yeah, a couple of units get taken out here and there. We're just trading 1 for 1 pretty much. Main fight is still... We're still waiting for that main fight to happen.
We are waiting. We'll see if it even does happen as Goblin. It looks like he has confidence. He's moving out. As he moves out, Rexy counterattacks immediately.
Just like so. Mira's going to be taking out just about everything on the ground. Battery overcharge force to be popped. Corrupt is trying to zone away the rest of the Sky Army. Link's trying to hit that 4th base, but they don't get too much of anything done.
Yeah, we do focus on the shield battery overcharge, and we are getting some damage, but Goblin doesn't care. Goblin, he doesn't care whatsoever. He's moving out across the map with everything he has, and what is it to defend? Nothing.
Literally nothing. Everything's across the map right now for Rex.
Yeah, exactly. And there it is. GG gets called, and Goblin will tap the series 1-1.
You called it. We didn't even get that main fight. That main clash between the 2 armies. Yeah, GG. Nicely done here from Goblin.
Yeah, I've ladded before, Papi. I've seen this game state.
You've been in this position before.
I've been A-moved before, Papi. I know.
Oh.
Oh, good. But GG, well played. And yeah, Goblin, he just had to wait for those Archons to morph in. And once he had them, there was no answer, right? Like, there were no Lurkers, there was no Roach Ravager, there were no Ultras either. We were very heavily reliant on keeping Goblin pinned back at home from the Muta harass. But once Goblin was able to build up a large enough army, there was nothing holding him back.
Exactly. Took us a while to get there, but when we got there, boy did we get there.
Exactly, as now we're getting into the ace match. We're getting into game number 3. It all ends here. It all ends on Site Delta.
Here we go. Very normal maps that we've had so far. Well, debatable how normal Ghost River is, but... I think Ghost River is a pretty normal map. It's just that You know, we have players who go out of their way to try to make it as abnormal as possible. No names.
No names. we know who you're talking about. It's fine. It's fine.
SMHing my hedge. Trap. Anyway, here we are on site Delta. We're on the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Taiwan. He is, of course, going to be representing Offside Gaming minus Gabe. He is Rex.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Croatian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes, tying up the series 1-1. It is Goblin.
Here we go, and it looks like Goblin so far throughout the series is pretty adamant about sticking to his rush into Sky Toss overall play style, and it is one that's very map dependent. And when I say map dependent, I don't mean in the sense that Goblin only does it if the map is good for it. No. I mean, Goblin will do it every single map. It's just that some maps are good for it, some maps are not.
Yeah.
Side Delta is kind of hard to pin down whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Goblin winding it back a little bit here when it comes to Game 2 on Oceanborn. I mean, Rex did commit to an all-in, and it was not an easy defense there for Goblin, so very impressive that he was able to hold on, that he was able to minimize losses, survive, and then snowball out of control with the Sky Toss. When it comes to all-ins, Side Delta is not known for it. It is a longer rush distance, it's a lot more wide open as well, and chances are we're going to be seeing something very different out of Rex, and I'm curious how he's going to approach this. As you mentioned before, I think we all know what Goblin wants to do this game, that he wants to embrace that Sky Toss rush, as he has every game so far, and has done even against players like Raynor and all the sort. It's about how Rex stops him, if at all.
Yeah, we shall see. Game number 1, he went for a pretty interesting fake out to all in.
True.
Initially, he maneuvered his queens a little bit to kind of force a bit of an overreaction from Goblin, and then pulled back, macroed up, scouted that he was rushing into Sky Toss, and then immediately went into Swarm Post after that. Game number 2, he thought that he could probably end the game sooner with that all-in, and in all likelihood, he probably could have, but needed a little bit more refinement on the execution there. So in the end, Goblin was able to recover and get to his end game that he really wants to. Now our eyes are on Rex this time to see, okay, are you going to pull out any tricks? You're probably not going to go for another all-in. Or are you just going to say, look, I'm going to try to out-macro you.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on Rex to see what kind of decision is made here. For now, the Overlords are getting in position on the left and on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, we do have our Stargate opener. Once again, at the Goblin, everything's looking as it should. Just Stargate, Oracle, into a third base. Rex has been flexing like these earlier Lair timings and earlier Roach timings. But for now, we're just chilling. Just droning.
Yeah. Saturating our bases, getting ready. Preparing.
Hopefully not smooching.
Yeah. Well, who is more likely to smooch? A Protoss player or a Zerg player? I feel like Zerg.
In this game state? What do you mean?
Oh,
After
I mean
game
in
2?
general,
Okay.
After game 2, yeah. But also in general, I feel like Protoss have kind of become one with. They've let the smooch pass through them in a way.
Look, I'll be honest. I've seen a lot more.
Smooch is the game killer.
I've seen a lot more Protoss players out there with smiles on their faces than I have with Zerg.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more smudging from the Zerg side of things. Oh no.
Oh.
Then you have Hero. Never smudge, always smile.
Never smooch.
Beautiful. That's why I love it.
He is the Skywalker, yes. No, wait, no, that could apply to. Never mind. That doesn't work. I just realized.
It's not good. But for now, we do have another fast lair. It is going to be a very fast lair here out of Rex. I'm curious what we're going to be embracing. Now, with a fast lair like this, without any further tech, we could try to take extra gases. I'm curious here, as Lings do threaten the third base. They didn't quite commit. More Lings are on the way, though.
Yeah, we're seeing the classic maneuver of trying to take out the third. Never mind, that's a Nidus Worm popping out.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. I was like, yo, what's the lair going to be for? There's no second gases, no extra tech. It's going to be for a Ling Queen Nidus all-in.
Well then, this is the complete opposite of, I think, what we were expecting. On-site Delta after the all-in on Oceanborn kind of failed, but yeah, Rex is going to be doubling down a little bit, going for a bit of a different style of all-in. No roaches this time.
Yeah, Lings are trying to distract Goblin here out of the natural base. Stalker's going to be going down at the same time. Nidus Worm actually outside of the third.
Okay. Rex wanting to fight here, and now Queens are going to be coming in mostly for anti-air. While the Lings, I'm so curious as to where they pop out. Here we go. A couple of reinforcements coming up from the Nidus. The main Ling army still hammering away at that third. We actually have a Nidus being set up in the main.
Yeah, we have a backup Nidus in the main base here, so we can just rotate from one base to the other. Third base is forfeit. Third base is going to be going down. Nidus does finish, and the Queens, they can just pop right in. Up.
Just like so. We have another Nidus being set up here. Just in case the first one goes down, we already have a couple of transfuses being thrown down, and GG is called. Rex doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the all-in. Will take game number 2 and the series 2-1. I think I said game number 2. I meant to say game number 3.
GG, well played, Rex. He, as you said, quadruples down on the all-in, went for the fast lair. This time went for a Ling Queen Nidus all-in, which does make more sense on side Delta, just because the rush distance by ground, just bypass that rush distance with those Nidus Worms instead. And Goblin was caught off guard, was caught out of position. Evacuating the third base was not a bad move. Unfortunately, the kill shot was the Nidus into the main. The Nidus did finish and did not go down.
Yeah. Can't say can't fault Goblin too hard for that. It was a very chaotic fight, both outside the third base as well as outside the natural base. Rex was doing such a good job of just stretching his attention to the absolute thinnest it could possibly be, and then just sneaking out that Nidus right outside the edge of that one Stalker's vision.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant play here from Rex.
Yeah, really patient stuff there, right? I feel like a player that was maybe a little bit more inexperienced would maybe just try to Nidus into the main base immediately, right? Just go for the kill and go for the Nidus into the main. And if that gets shut down, then very quickly things go from bad to worse from the side of the Zerg player. So yeah, it was a bit of a slower, more methodical approach. First distracting and committing at the third base, focusing everyone's attention there while we snuck into the main.
I'm looking at it on replay right now. That was just looking at the minimap and seeing how that was really the one blind spot in Goblin's main base.
Yeah, exactly.
Great stuff, and yeah, it really does feel like at least after game number 1, I think Rex kind of did his. I think maybe Rex kind of did his homework beforehand. He kind of knew the reputation of Goblin and how much he does like to go into the Sky Toss rushes, but especially after game number 1, it really looked specifically like Rex was playing a style each game to just try to shut that down. Make sure that he could never get into that style, as opposed to playing into an army composition or build that could eventually fight it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Rex, he does study a lot of the WTL VODs. I know that just because his main focus is World Team League and WTL for offside esports, and this is something that Goblin has been playing quite frequently. It is his style, it is what he prefers in this matchup, so Rex is fully familiar with it, and it does feel like every single game where he did kind of tailor his style and tailor his build to shut Goblin down before he could really get things going. Even in the game where it failed, it was still kind of like the same end goal there, just to go for the mid game and go for the kill earlier on. Or even just fake out in game 1.